What up YouTube, it's your boy Anime Specialist. So I didn't do a review for last week's episode, but it was the best episode of the series by far in my opinion, especially the discussion between Tsukasa and Senku when there was the OST behind it. It was a great OST, man. I liked it a lot. So last week's episode was amazing in my opinion. I really liked it and everything. So let me know what you thought about last week's episode in the comments down below. So obviously Senku and Tsukasa were in difference of opinion. So Tsukasa didn't want Senku to be alive because he knew that he was gonna revive, every single human, and that he was gonna rebuild civilization. So what Tsukasa did was basically kill Senku. But I have question about that because it seems like I don't know what Tsukasa did. Did he slash Senku's neck? Did he break Senku's neck? I'm not really sure what the hell happened, so for the manga readers, maybe don't spoil everything, but let me know what the hell happened. Before we continue with all that, I just want to say that I really like Yuzu with short hair. It looks way better than when she had long hair, so hopefully she doesn't let grow her hair out again, because it looks really good on her, man. But anyway, man, like I said, I think that Tsukasa actually killed Senku, but it wasn't really apparent, and I'm not really sure that in this show they show blood and everything like that. Do they censor it like they do a lot of other shonen now, or are they going to show blood? I'm not really sure. I don't think we've seen blood in this show so far. So yeah, it seems like Tsukasa actually killed Senku off, but by the discussion that Yuzu and Taiju had later in the episode when they were trying to revive him, Taiju said something pretty interesting. He said that Senku was cracking his neck all over the place every single day, and that he didn't used to do that. And he just looked, Yuzu just said to Taiju, look at his neck, maybe there's something there. And there was something there. A little bit over his neck there was still stones attached to his body, and his petrification basically wasn't really over, I guess. So by removing the last stone on his body close to his neck, maybe that is going to revive him or heal his neck. I'm not really sure, but I'm really confused about what the hell is happening with Senku, with this little bit of stone left on him. I'm not really sure why it would save him, so that's kind of crazy, man. I really don't know what the hell is happening in the anime right now. But after that, we didn't see another thing about this situation for the rest of the episode. We only saw Senku's flashback when he was revived for the first time. He was, like he said, the first human to be revived from this stone world, and it was quite interesting. We all knew that he was counting to see in what time period he would be when he woke up, and he had to stay awake. It wasn't a given. He had to work for that kind of. So when he woke up, it seems like maybe it was his will that broke the stone. I'm not really sure, or maybe it was the substance, because we saw a little a little substance before the stone cracked. But it seems like maybe it was his will. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of mystery about this anime right now that I don't know. I don't know if it was his will, maybe it was a substance that came down over him without him knowing at first. I'm not really sure, but it's interesting, man. I'm not really sure right now. We saw Senku create tools. We saw him create weapons, traps for him to hunt, because he's not the strongest guy, he's not the fittest guy, so he had to create traps to hunt his prey and to eat, so he's pretty smart, so he was able to do that. We also saw him create fire for the first time, so that's kind of a throwback from the first man creating fire in the Stone Age. I guess it's the Stone Age. I'm not really sure. I haven't studied history for a long time, but yeah, man, it was kind of funny to see the monkeys, amazed by Senku creating fire. But yeah, we saw him basically create everything that we saw, in the last few episodes when Taiju woke up. Like he said, he woke up 6 months before Taiju, so it took him basically 6 months maybe to do all of these things. But yeah, man, it was interesting. It was nice to see the flashback, but I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed in the episode. I really wanted to know about, this girl that we saw in the end of last week's episode, because she woke up, I don't know how, maybe she was close to a substance or something like that. I'm not really sure, but I was bummed out that we didn't see more about what we saw in last week's episode. At the end of last week's episode, it was all about, Senku, obviously, because he died, quote unquote, and then we saw a flashback, so I was bummed out a little bit. So hopefully in next week's episode we'll see what's going on with this girl. It seems like she's alone, maybe, I don't know, but it's gonna be interesting. I watched the opening for this week's episode, and I think there was some new images, some new shots. Maybe I'm wrong because I don't watch the opening that often, but there was some new shots. I think we saw some new characters. I'm not really sure, so let me know in the comments down below if the version of the first opening changed a little bit. I'm not really sure because, like I said, I don't really watch the opening that often. I think I watched it once or twice and that's it. But let me know in the comments down below. I can't wait for next week's episode. Like I said, last week's episode was great, man. It was the best episode of the series by far for me because of the discussion of between Tsukasa and Senku and the OST that they made for this, and we heard it in this week's episode too. It was amazing, man. I loved it. So yeah, man, let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below, and let me know what you think is gonna happen next. I do DR.STONE reviews every Friday, so subscribe for that. But I also do other anime related things like Black Clover reviews on Tuesday. Like I said, DR.STONE reviews and Fire Force reviews on Fridays, and then One Piece plus Demon Slayer reviews on Saturdays. So stay tuned for that, man. The One Piece anime right now is in a filler kind of arc, a 2-episode arc, because of the One Piece Stampede movie coming out, I think next week. So they're doing a special episode for the One Piece Stampede movie, so I understand. But after that, we're back to the Wano arc, which was great for the first 3 episodes, so I can't wait for it to come back. I like the animation and art for this arc right now, so hopefully it stays like that for the rest of the arc. I know that the director that directed the first 3 episodes right now is not the one that is gonna direct the next episode, so hopefully the quality of the animation and the art stays the same. But yeah, man, I think I've said everything that I needed to say in this review. Follow me at Anime Specialist on Twitter and Instagram. I tweet a lot more, so follow me on Twitter. Like, comment, subscribe. It would help my channel a lot. So yeah, man, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, man. Anime Specialist out. Peace.